Hello guys, my name is Esther and this is Seed Styles. You are welcome to Seed Styles. Today's tutorial I'll be showing us how to cut and sew this camp collar shirt. I made it for a 1 year and 10 months, right? For my little boy. So we're going to, before we go ahead, the material it has pattern, so you have to follow the pattern when cutting it. So this is mine that I've cut the blocks for both the front and back, and I folded 4 inches in. This 4 inches is for the button allowance, though we don't need 4 inches for the button allowance for normal shape, but this is a cam collar, so we need it just like this. This 4 inches will be serving as a facing. Just take it as if you are facing the shirt. So I folded the 4 inches in, then I place it on the back, and the back is longer than the front. I made mine longer than the front with 2.5 inches. I'll be going down with the shoulder slope. I'll be going down with 1.5 inches. This is for a kid. I'll be using 1.5 inches. So the back will be longer than the front with 2 inches. I'm adding half inch allowance. So go down. Now that I place it, I will mark the 1.5 inches. Then before you do that, I shifted the front with 1 inch for the zip for the buttons allowance before I started my measurement, and I will be taking my measurement not on the front but the back. So from after the 1 inch, that's where I will start the measurement. Now the shoulder line, I went down with 1.5 inches for the shoulder slope. Then I will pull it down and bend it this way. Cut the 1.5 inches out. That is your shoulder slope. You cut it together with the front and back. Then you bend the back towards the front like this, just like I am doing here. Let me pin it down, bend it towards the back with half inches. Then I will take my armhole depth, which is 6 inches. I'll mark the 6 inches here. Then on that armhole depth, I'll go ahead and mark the chest plus allowance, 2 inches allowance or 3 inches. It depends on what you want, how free you want it. I made mine 3 inches, so you can go ahead and do the same thing as well. Then I will mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2 on that same point and connect it to the shoulder line like this to get my arm sky. Then I'll get the middle and go in with half inch. Then I'll use my curve rule. Excuse me. I use my curve rule to connect the points together, or I use my free hand. I'll go ahead and use my free hand to connect it like this from my shoulder to from the nip of my shoulder line to the half inch and to the side this way. Then you cut it out. I'll cut it out just like I'm doing like this. Now I will go ahead and divide the neckline. My collar is 12 inches. I'll divide it by 4, which is 3 inches. That 3 inches, I will use it as the depth. Then I will go ahead and divide that 3 inches again by 2. That will give me the width, which is 1.5 inches. That will be the width. This is how I normally get my neckline, perfect neckline, both for this and even senators. When I'm cutting my senator, this is how I used to do. Then you go ahead and cut it out. When cutting it out, make sure you raise the front, just the front. Cut it like this. I mistakenly cut both the front and back together. You only cut the front, raise it up so that you will not cut the front and back together. cut the front, then you go ahead and when you are cutting the front, you cut and notch the back, that falling, you notch it a little bit so you know where you cut out the back with neck width. Then I'll go ahead and cut it like this, then trim out the back neckline. I mistakenly cut my back, so I will have to place it and cut another one. But this is what you should have when cutting it. And this is basically all for the cutting of this shirt. This is it. Now the next thing to do is to measure your armhole round. Measure it so that you use it to cut your sleeve, just like I'm doing. Now I will go ahead and cut my sleeve and still following the pattern. Follow the patterns. Now the head of my pandas, this material is a combination of pandas and bears. So their heads I'm following the length. The head will be upward, so I will still go ahead and do the same thing. Use it to cut the sleeve the same way I cut the bodies. So you have to be careful when you are working with a patterned material. And I have a tutorial on how to cut your basic sleeve on my channel. You can go ahead and check it out. So I wouldn't be giving you any explanation here. I will just go ahead and cut my sleeve. I have a tutorial on how to cut a basic sleeve on my channel. I'll go ahead and cut the sleeves. Just like I'm doing here. So this is my sleeve. I will place it to cut the second one. You fold it like this. Everything will be equal. I will all cut the front open. This is the zipper, the button line, the 4 inches. Can we see? Now I'll go ahead to fold it back like this. Then you go ahead and fold it, pick it like this and notch for the 1 inch button allowance. Notch it like so. So you know where you will fold for your button allowance. This is how you go ahead and fold it, and then you go ahead that from that notch you fold it notch to notch and sew it from the notch towards to the front. This is what we are having. I've sewn mine, and this is what I'm having. Sew it on the wrong side, then I will push it to the right side, and this is what you should be having. Can go ahead and sew it using 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, and this is what you should be having. The remaining 4 inches, can we see, it will serve as a facing. Then you go ahead and weave the rough, overlock the rough edges of that facing. I'll do the same thing with the other one. This is what I'm having. Can we see how neat it's looking? And you go ahead and overlock the rough edges. So if you place the two together, this is how it will be looking like. And we see how our cam color is coming out. Now you go ahead and overlock the rough edges of the facing. Then you use a hemming gum to gum it. You are not going to stitch it. That button lines, you are not stitching it. You go ahead and gum it. Then you take it. There won't be a facing for this, so this is how I'll be closing my shoulder so that the rough, I don't want the seam on the shoulder line to be seen. So let me work on the inside. At this point, I realized that my hemming gum has finished, so I sent my children to go and get it for me. So instead of me sitting down, I just say, let me turn the sleeve. So you turn it once with your hot iron, press it this way, then press it again, turn it again, the second one. The first fold is half of an inch. Then I will now fold it with the allowance that I left for the turning of my sleeve. Can we see that the pattern are still on the right direction? They are corresponding with the bodies. I'll do the same thing with the other one. So they brought my hemming gum. Now I've overlocked the rough edges of the facing. I call it facing. Put your hemming gum inside just like this and use your hot iron to press it down. Press it down like this. Do the same thing with the other one. And now I will place it. I will place the front and back, right, wrong side facing wrong side, this way. Then I will go ahead and take it to my machine and lock and sew it using half of an inch on the shoulder line. Wrong side facing wrong side, not right side facing right side, because I want to hide the shoulder seam. So I've stitched mine and this is what I'm having. Now what I will be doing now is to pick, I will open the seam like this and pick the front shoulder seam and trim it off. Trim the front off and this is what I'm having. Now the next thing that I'll be doing is to fold it twice and bend it towards the front. Remember, we trim off the front seam for the shoulder line, is the back that is remaining now. So you fold it twice towards the front seam and press it down with your hot iron, or you can take it to your machine. As you are folding it, you'll be stitching it on top. But I did this pressing with iron just for the sake of this tutorial. This is how you do it. You take it to your machine. As you are folding it, fold it twice so that the rough edges will not be seen outside. And then you go ahead and bend it towards the front to hide all the edges and top stitch it like this. I'll do the same thing with the other one. Now I've top stitched it and this is what I'm having. Can we see what we're having inside? There's no seam inside. Everything is neat. So this is how I like to do my own if I'm not using a facing for it. I'll hide the shoulder seam that way. This is what we're having now. Now I will go ahead and align it, making sure that my button allowance overlap each other with 1 inch. Arrange everything well, making sure that everything is well arranged. You can use your pin to pin it down because we have to trim your outfit, trim all the unnecessary allowances. Take your time to arrange it. Make sure everything is properly arranged, just like I am doing. If necessary, iron it down. Use your hot iron to iron everything to make sure that everything is well arranged. Everything is well aligned. Take your time, don't rush your work. You need a nice finishing. Now, coming to the shoulder line, I'll go ahead and take my shoulder measurement. My boy's shoulder measurement is 11 inches, which is 5.5 plus 11 inches plus 1 inches, that is 12 for seam allowance. So I'll go ahead and trim off the excess. So I'll be trimming off the excess like so. Don't mind the way the right side is looking, is because of I will trim it from the back. Trim it off like this to be the same thing with the other side. So this is what we're having. Trim off all the excesses. The hemline, trim it off. Any excess that is there, you trim it off. Make sure everything is well arranged. And this is what we are having. Now I will take it to my machine. Now this shoulder line, that stitch, the way you stitch is no longer your shoulder line. The bend, you remember the back is longer than the front, so it will fall in front. That line, when you iron it, you have a crease there that will serve as your shoulder line, that crease. Now you go ahead and notch it and fix your sleeve. This is what I'm having after attaching my sleeve to mine. Now the side, what I did with the side is that I did the seam will be seen inside, but if you don't want the seam for the side also to be seen just like the shoulder line, you can go ahead and do just what we did with the shoulder. You close it the way I close the shoulder line. With my own seam, the side seam will be seen inside. Now I'll go ahead and measure my neckline round. Whatever I get, I'll use it for the collar, and I'm having 12 inches. So I'll be using it for the collar, to cut the collar. I'll go ahead, I have a tutorial on how to cut your collar as well. I will just go ahead and cut. This one is a very simple one. Just cut, mark my 6 inches. The length, I'll fold my gum stay into two. Mark 6 inches the length. Then the width of my collar, I mark 2 inches, or you can make it 2.5 inches. Then I'll join it together like this. I just want something simple, not drama. Just go ahead and cut it out like this. Then here I will just trim it a little bit with less than quarter of an inch like this. Then on the other side, like quarter of an inch, and slant it towards the end to have a curve on that area. Now remember this piece, the back, the first back that I mistakenly cut the neck. the neckline with the front together. I will just place it and my gum stay on it like this for the collar, so that I will not waste this particular material. Gum it like this and trim it, cut it out just like I'm doing. Gum it on your pieces like so. It's 2 pieces here now. Now I'll go ahead and fold it on this point like so. I'll go ahead and sew it. When sewing it, I'll be leaving like less than quarter of an inch or quarter of an inch before you start your sewing. Now I've sewn it round. Can we see I left like quarter of an inch before I started my sewing. Then sew it round to the other side and then you leave quarter of an inch as well. Make sure you use your scissors to push all the edges out so that your collar will be sharp. Make sure everything is properly arranged, that everything will be sharp. Then you go ahead and iron it out. This is what we're having now. I'll go ahead and trim it off. Trimming it, you'll be leaving like less than quarter of an inch because we have quarter of an inch inside already. So I'll be leaving less than quarter of an inch. Then you take it, fold your half feet into two on the neckline and get the middle. Notch it, then notch your collar as well and match the points together. If you got your measurement correctly, everything will tally. So my own is perfect. Everything tallied perfectly. So I'll go ahead and attach it. This is what I'm having. I've attached it now. Can we see that quarter of an inch that left before I started closing my collar? Can we see you push all the allowance inside easily and then you lock it this way, push it, everything everything will just go inside the collar easily. Then you go ahead and lock it, and this is what I'm having. This is what I'm having. Now you go ahead and iron this part this way. This is how I normally iron mine. Iron it like this. Arrange it well and iron it out. And we see how it's looking like. This is how my cam collar is looking like. Can we see how beautiful this came out? And this is one that I made for my client. This is my little boy's own. I don't have a little mannequin, so I just I should show us how it looks like on this adult's own. So guys, this brings us to the end of our tutorial. If you've not subscribed, please go ahead and give me a subscribe. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. God bless you wherever you're watching me from. God bless Nigeria. Let's stay safe and show love to one another. See you in my next one. Bye. Mwah.